They say revenge is a dish best served cold. I prefer mine served at exactly room temperature, with legal documentation and a side of financial ruin. My name is John Forrest, and this is how I destroyed 3 lives without breaking a single law. It started with a phone call at 2:47 a.m. on a Tuesday, the kind that makes your stomach drop before you even answer. "Dad, you need to get to City General Hospital now." Samantha's voice cracked through the speaker, panic seeping into every syllable. I sat up in my empty apartment, the divorce papers still scattered across my coffee table from 6 months ago. "What happened to your mother?" She tried to hurt herself, Dad. The doctors say she's stable, but they need family here for decisions." Family. The word tasted bitter after everything Erica had put me through. 29 years of marriage, reduced to emergency contact duty. "I'll be there in 20 minutes. The drive to the hospital gave me time to think. 6 months since I'd discovered Erica's affair with Randy Dillon. 6 months since our world imploded in that Boston hotel conference room. 6 months since Samantha chose her mother's side, calling me heartless for not forgiving a moment of weakness. A moment. 23 years of secret meetings, stolen weekends, and lies wasn't a moment. City General's emergency wing buzzed with controlled chaos. I found Samantha in the waiting area, her husband Darren's arm around her shoulders. She looked up as I approached, eyes red and swollen. "They're pumping her stomach," she whispered. "Pills and alcohol." I nodded, feeling that familiar numbness settle over me. The same numbness that had carried me through the divorce proceedings while everyone painted me as the villain for refusing reconciliation. "Mr. Forrest?" A nurse approached, clipboard in hand. "I'm Bonnie. Your wife is asking for you." "Ex-wife," I corrected automatically. Bonnie's expression softened with practiced sympathy. "She's in room 314. The doctor will want to speak with you about her condition." As we walked down the sterile hallway, Bonnie made small talk. 30 years of marriage must have been something special. 29, I said, and apparently 23 of those were a lie. She glanced at me sideways but didn't respond. Smart woman. Erica looked smaller in the hospital bed, IV tubes snaking from her arms like transparent vines. Her once vibrant auburn hair lay limp against the pillow, streaked with gray I'd never noticed before. "John," her voice was barely a whisper. "You came." Samantha called. "I'm sorry for everything. I know you probably hate me, but I don't hate you, Erica." The words came out flat, emotionless. "I don't feel anything for you anymore." Her face crumpled. "Please. I made a mistake. Randy meant nothing. It was just, I was lonely and you were always working and—" "Stop." I held up a hand. "We're not doing this again." Dr. Martinez entered, saving us both from the familiar spiral of accusations and justifications. He was young, probably Samantha's age, with kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. "Mr. Forrest, I need to discuss your wife's treatment options. Ex-wife, and whatever she needs, insurance should cover it. If not, send me the bills." Samantha appeared in the doorway. "Dad, don't be cold. She needs support right now. She has you, and apparently, she has Randy." "Randy's not... he's not in the picture anymore," Samantha said quietly. That caught my attention. "Oh?" "He lost his job at the manufacturing plant 3 months ago. Something about falsifying inspection reports. Mom hasn't heard from him since." "Interesting." I filed that information away for later consideration. Dr. Martinez cleared his throat. "Mrs. Forrest will need ongoing psychiatric care. Depression this severe doesn't resolve overnight." "Of course," I said. "Whatever she needs." As I turned to leave, Erica grabbed my wrist with surprising strength. "John, please, can we try again? I'll do anything." I looked down at her hand on my arm, then into her desperate eyes. For a moment, I almost felt something, pity, maybe, or the ghost of love long dead. "Get better, Erica, for yourself, not for me." I gently removed her hand and walked away, leaving Samantha to comfort her mother. In the elevator, I pulled out my phone and made a call. "Peterson Law Associates, this is Janet." "Hi, Janet, it's John Forrest. Is David available? I need to discuss some financial matters." "Of course, Mr. Forrest. He has an opening tomorrow at 2. "Perfect. And Janet? Make sure he has the divorce settlement handy. I want to review the alimony clauses." The elevator doors opened and I stepped into the lobby. Through the glass windows, I could see the sun rising over the city, painting the sky in shades of orange and gold. A new day. Time to start planning. David Peterson's office overlooked downtown from the 15th floor. all mahogany and leather-bound law books. He'd handled my divorce with the efficiency of a surgeon, extracting me from 29 years of marriage with minimal financial damage. "John, good to see you." David stood as his secretary ushered me in. "How are you holding up?" "Better than expected." I settled into the chair across from his desk. "I need to discuss some adjustments to the alimony arrangement." David raised an eyebrow. "The settlement's already finalized. Changing it now would require extraordinary circumstances. What if those circumstances already exist?" I pulled out a manila folder I'd prepared the night before. Inside were bank statements, employment records, and a timeline I'd been quietly assembling for months. "Erica's been receiving alimony based on my declared income of $85,000 annually." "Correct. Standard calculation gave her 30% for 5 years with adjustment clauses." "Here's the thing, David. My actual income last year was $230,000. David's pen stopped moving. "Excuse me? I've been consulting for Meridian Industries through a third-party contractor. Perfectly legal, all taxes paid. But the income flows through Forest Solutions LLC, which I established 2 years ago. Before the divorce proceedings? 18 months before I filed. I had a feeling things were heading south." David leaned back in his chair, a slow smile spreading across his face. "You magnificent bastard." The alimony calculation was based on incomplete financial disclosure. Erica's disclosure, not mine. She never asked about additional income sources during discovery. Her lawyer assumed my W-2 represented my total earnings. "This could reduce your obligations significantly. Why didn't you mention this during the proceedings?" I stood and walked to the window, watching traffic crawl through the streets below. "Because I wanted the divorce finalized quickly. No drawn-out battles, no ugly courtroom scenes. Samantha was already choosing sides. And now? Now Erica's in the hospital, Randy's unemployed and desperate, and my daughter thinks I'm heartless for not taking her mother back." I turned back to David. "I'm tired of being the villain in everyone else's story." David spread the documents across his desk, scanning numbers and dates. "This is solid, John. We could petition for modification based on changed circumstances and incomplete disclosure." "There's more." I returned to my seat. "I've been tracking Randy Dillon's employment history since the affair came to light. Want to guess who handled the quality control audit that got him fired? Please tell me it wasn't Meridian Industries. My consulting contract includes oversight of vendor compliance reviews. Randy's plant was flagged for systematic inspection fraud. I simply ensured the audit was thorough." David set down his pen and stared at me. "Jesus, John, how long have you been planning this?" "Since the night I found them together in Boston." "Did you know they'd been meeting at that conference for 15 years? Same hotel, same weekend, same room number when possible." The memory hit me like a physical blow. Walking into the Marriott bar after my presentation, seeing Erica at a corner table with Randy Dillon. The way she touched his hand, the easy familiarity, the kiss that lasted long enough for me to take pictures. "I confronted them that night," I continued. "Randy broke down immediately, confessed everything, begged me not to tell his wife Mary, promised it was over, but it wasn't. They were more careful after Boston. Burner phones, different hotels. But patterns are hard to break, David. Randy had a gambling problem. Horses, mostly. Erica was helping him with money." David whistled low. "Your money?" "My money. 15,000 over 2 years, withdrawn from our joint savings as home improvements and medical expenses. You have documentation? Bank records, ATM surveillance, betting receipts I found in Randy's truck. He's not as smart as he thinks." I pulled out another folder, this one thicker. "Randy's been working construction since the plant firing. Guess which company just won the contract for Meridian's new facility expansion?" "Your company?" "My company. And guess whose background check revealed a pattern of workplace violations, unreliable references, and a gambling problem that makes him uninsurable?" David laughed despite himself. "You're destroying him systematically." "I'm protecting my business interests. Randy Dillon is a liability I can't afford to take on." "What about Samantha? She's going to figure out you're behind Randy's problems eventually." That was the question that kept me awake nights. Samantha, my daughter for 29 years, choosing her mother's affair partner over her father's pain, demanding I show compassion for the woman who'd made a fool of me for 2 decades. Samantha made her choice, David. She wants me to be the understanding ex-husband who forgives and forgets. The nice guy who puts family peace above personal dignity. And you're not that guy anymore. I never was that guy. I was just pretending to be, and everyone took advantage of it. My phone buzzed with a text from Samantha. Mom's coming home tomorrow. Can you please visit? She's asking for you. I showed David the message. See? Even now it's about what I can do for them. So what's the end game, John? I stood to leave, gathering my folders. The end game is truth, David. Erica's affair wasn't a mistake or a moment of weakness. It was a calculated betrayal that lasted half our marriage. Randy isn't a victim of circumstance. He's a user who targeted a married woman for money and emotional support. And Samantha? Samantha will learn that choosing sides has consequences, that supporting someone's lies doesn't make you loyal. It makes you complicit. David walked me to the door. This is some next-level chess, John. But be careful. When people realize they've been outmaneuvered, they get desperate. Let them get desperate. I've been playing defense for 29 years, David. Time to see how they handle offense. As I waited for the elevator, my phone rang. Unknown number. John Forrest. Mr. Forrest, this is Mary Dillon, Randy's wife. I think we need to talk. The elevator doors opened, but I didn't get in. This was about to get very interesting. Mrs. Dillon, what can I do for you? It's about what I can do for you, Mr. Forrest. I know about Randy and your wife, and I know you've been making his life heck. I'm not sure what you mean. Cut the crap, John. Randy's been drunk for 3 days, crying about how you're destroying him. He told me everything. I stepped into an empty conference room and closed the door. And what exactly is everything? The affair, the money, the job losses that keep happening right when he thinks he's getting back on his feet. Mrs. Dillon, if your husband is having employment difficulties, my husband is a cheating piece of garbage who ruined 2 marriages, but he's also the father of my children, and you're systematically destroying his ability to provide for them. What do you want, Mary? A meeting, tonight, 7 o'clock at Murphy's Bar on 5th Street. Come alone. The line went dead. I stared at my phone, mind racing. This wasn't part of the plan, but then again, the best plans were flexible. Murphy's Bar was the kind of place where construction workers grabbed beers after 12-hour shifts and office drones drowned their sorrows in cheap whiskey. Perfect neutral ground for an uncomfortable conversation. Mary Dillon was already there when I arrived, nursing a glass of red wine at a corner booth. She was prettier than I'd expected, blonde hair pulled back in a simple ponytail, wearing scrubs that suggested she'd come straight from work. Mrs. Dillon? I slid into the seat across from her. Mary, and thank you for coming. She studied my face with intelligent blue eyes. You're not what I expected. What did you expect? Someone angrier. Randy described you as this cold, calculating bastard who was systematically ruining his life out of spite. I signaled the waitress for a beer. And what do you think? I think you're a man who got tired of being walked on. Mary took a sip of wine. Randy's been cheating on me for years. Your wife wasn't his first affair. That surprised me. You knew? I suspected. Late nights and mysterious phone calls, unexplained expenses. But Randy's always been good at making me feel crazy for asking questions. Why stay with him? 2 kids, a mortgage, and a nursing degree. I never finished. She shrugged. Same reasons a lot of women stay. Fear and financial dependence. The waitress brought my beer and I took a long pull before responding. So why are you here, Mary? To ask me to back off. To propose a deal. Now she had my attention. What kind of deal? Mary reached into her purse and pulled out a small digital recorder. Randy doesn't know I have this. It's a conversation he had with your wife 3 weeks ago. She pressed play. Randy's voice filled the space between us, slurred with alcohol and thick with self-pity. Erica, baby, I can't take this anymore. John's destroying me. Every job I get, something goes wrong. It's like he's got people watching me. Erica's voice responded, clearer and more sober. Randy, you need to be patient. John's just hurt right now. He'll get over it. Get over it? The man's a complete psychopath. He got me fired from the plant, blacklisted from 3 construction companies, and now he's blocking my unemployment benefits somehow. How's he blocking your benefits? I don't know, but every time I file, there's some new issue. Missing paperwork, questions about my termination, requests for additional documentation. It's like someone's feeding them information. Mary paused the recording. Want to hear more? Keep playing. Erica's voice continued. Randy, maybe we should take a break until things calm down. A break? After 15 years, you want a break? What about the money you promised? I've got bookies breathing down my neck, and Mary's threatening to leave if I don't get my crap together. I can't access our joint accounts anymore. John moved everything into some kind of trust. My lawyer says it's legal, but I can't touch any of it without his approval. Then get his approval. You were married to the guy for 30 years. Use that. I tried, Randy. I ended up in the hospital. John doesn't care anymore. He's different now. Colder. The recording ended. Mary ejected the device and put it back in her purse. Interesting pillow talk, I said. Randy came home drunk that night and passed out on the couch. His phone was still connected to our Bluetooth speaker. Mary finished her wine. I heard everything. And you recorded it because I'm tired of being the only one in the dark. Randy's been lying to me about the affair, about the money, about why he keeps losing jobs. Your wife's been lying to you about the scope of their relationship. Everyone's lying except the spouses. I leaned back in the booth, processing this new information. What do you want from me, Mary? Information and cooperation. Elaborate. Randy's gambling debts are real. He owes $40,000 to some very unpleasant people. If he can't pay, they'll come after our house, our kids. That's not my problem. It is if you want Randy to disappear permanently. Now she really had my attention. Explain. Mary leaned forward, lowering her voice. I've been planning to leave Randy for months. I've got money saved, a job lined up in Phoenix, and a custody agreement drafted. But I need Randy to violate the terms first. What terms? Gambling, adultery, failure to provide financial support? I need documented proof of all three. You already have proof of the affair. I have proof of one affair. I need proof of the pattern. Randy's been seeing other women besides your wife. This was getting complicated. What makes you think I can help with that? Because you've been tracking him for months. You know his routines, his haunts, his weaknesses, and you have resources I don't. She was right. My surveillance of Randy had revealed more than just his affair with Erica. There was the bartender at Flanagan's who stayed late when Randy was there, the massage therapist who made house calls, the woman at the track who always seemed to be available when Randy needed comfort after losing big. What's in it for me? I asked. Randy disappears from your life permanently. No more worrying about him crawling back to your wife. No more games, no more drama. He'll be in Phoenix dealing with divorce proceedings and supervised visitation. And if I refuse, Mary's expression hardened, then I play that recording for your daughter. Let her hear how her mother really talks about you, how she and Randy laugh about your pathetic attempts to win her back. I'm not trying to win Erica back. Randy doesn't know that, and neither does your daughter, apparently. She had me there. Samantha still believed I was the bitter ex-husband who couldn't forgive and move on. She had no idea about the systematic campaign I'd been waging against Randy or the financial maneuvers that had left Erica essentially penniless. What do you need from me? I asked. Documentation of Randy's gambling, photos of him with other women, financial records showing he's been using family money for personal expenses. I can get you gambling records. The other stuff might take time. How much time? 2 weeks. Maybe less if Randy stays predictable. Mary smiled for the first time since I'd arrived. Randy's very predictable. Every Tuesday, he goes to Flanagan's after his AA meeting. Every Thursday, he's at the track. Every Saturday, he tells me he's working overtime, but actually visits his massage therapist. You've been watching him too. For 6 months. I just didn't have the resources to document everything properly. We shook hands across the table, sealing our unlikely alliance. As I stood to leave, Mary grabbed my arm. John, for what it's worth, I'm sorry about what they did to you. Randy's a user. And your wife, she's weak. You deserved better. Thank you, Mary. So did you. As I walked back to my car, my phone buzzed with another text from Samantha. Dad, please call me. Mom wants to see you tomorrow. She says it's important. I deleted the message without responding. Whatever Erica wanted to discuss could wait. I had work to do. The next morning brought unexpected complications. I was reviewing financial statements in my home office when Samantha showed up unannounced, using the key I'd forgotten to take back. Dad, we need to talk. She stood in my doorway, arms crossed, wearing the expression that had gotten her out of trouble since she was 5. It didn't work anymore. You should have called first. I did call. You didn't answer. She moved into the room, glancing at the papers spread across my desk. What's all this? I quickly gathered the documents. Business stuff. What do you want, Samantha? Mom's getting released from the hospital today. She wants to see you. I already visited her once. That's more than she deserved. Dad, please, she's really struggling. The doctors think having family support would help her recovery. She has you, and she has Randy. Samantha's face flushed. Randy's not... That's over, Dad. Mom ended it. Did she? Or did Randy just become too expensive to maintain? What's that supposed to mean? I studied my daughter's face, looking for signs that she knew about Randy's financial problems, about the systematic campaign that had destroyed his employment prospects. She seemed genuinely confused. Nothing. Forget it. Dad, I know you're hurt. I know what Mom did was wrong. But she's still my mother, and she's sick. Can't you find it in yourself to forgive her? The word forgive hit me like a slap. Forgive 23 years of lies? Forgive stolen money and secret meetings? Forgive being made a fool of while everyone expected me to smile and take it? Samantha, has it occurred to you that maybe I don't want to forgive her? That's not the dad I know. You always taught me that family comes first, that we stick together no matter what. Your mother didn't stick with our family. She chose Randy over us for 23 years. It wasn't 23 years, Dad. Don't be dramatic. I walked to my file cabinet and pulled out a folder I'd hoped never to show her. Inside were printed emails, hotel receipts, and a timeline I'd reconstructed from credit card statements and phone records. Sit down, Samantha. Dad, I don't want to see... Sit down. Something in my tone made her comply. I spread the documents across the coffee table like a prosecutor presenting evidence. First documented contact between your mother and Randy, September 1999. You were 6 years old. I pointed to an email printout. She was helping him with his resume after he got laid off from Consolidated Manufacturing. Samantha stared at the papers but didn't touch them. First hotel receipt, March 2000, Boston Trade Conference. They shared a room for 3 nights while I was home with you, recovering from pneumonia. Dad, stop. First financial transaction, June 2001. Your mother withdrew $500 from our savings account. The same day, Randy made a payment to his bookie. I continued laying out the evidence, watching my daughter's face grow paler with each revelation. Phone records showing thousands of calls. Credit card statements revealing secret dinners and weekend trips. A pattern of deception that spanned more than 2 decades. This isn't a recent affair, Samantha. This is a second marriage that happened inside our real marriage. Samantha stood abruptly, backing away from the table. Why are you showing me this? Because you keep asking me to forgive a mistake. This wasn't a mistake. It was a choice your mother made every day for 23 years. But she loves you. She told me. She told you what you wanted to hear. Just like she told me what I wanted to hear while she was carrying on an affair with Randy Dillon behind my back. The crude language made Samantha flinch. Good. Maybe it was time she stopped seeing me as the nice, accommodating father who never raised his voice or said an unkind word. I'm leaving. She headed for the door. Samantha, wait. She turned back, tears streaming down her face. What, Dad? What else do you want to destroy? I want you to understand something. I'm not the villain in this story. I'm not the one who broke our family apart. Your mother did that, and Randy helped her do it. So what? You're going to punish her forever? Make her suffer because she made a mistake? I'm not making her suffer. I'm just not saving her from the consequences of her choices anymore. That's the same thing. No, it's not. For 29 years, I cleaned up your mother's messes. I paid her debts, covered for her mistakes, and pretended everything was fine while she lived a double life. I'm done being her safety net. Samantha wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. She needs help, Dad. Professional help. But she can't afford it without your support. She'll figure it out. She's a resourceful woman. She managed to hide an affair for 2 decades. You're being cruel. I'm being realistic. Your mother's an adult who made adult choices. Now she gets to live with adult consequences. And what about me? What about our family? That question hit harder than I'd expected. I looked at my daughter, really looked at her, and saw a woman caught between 2 parents who'd both disappointed her in different ways. What about you, Samantha? When did you become responsible for managing your mother's mental health? When did it become your job to fix our marriage? Someone has to care about keeping this family together. The family was already broken, sweetheart. I'm just the only one honest enough to admit it. She stared at me for a long moment, then shook her head. I don't know who you are anymore, Dad. I'm the same person I've always been. The difference is I'm not pretending anymore. After she left, I sat alone in my office, surrounded by evidence of my wife's betrayal and my daughter's disappointment. My phone rang. David Peterson. John, we have a problem. Erica's lawyer filed a motion to modify the divorce settlement. She's claiming emotional distress and requesting increased support. On what grounds? She says you've been harassing her and her associates, causing her to lose income and mental stability. I laughed despite myself. Associates? Is that what we're calling Randy now? John, this is serious. If she can prove you've been interfering with her ability to earn income, she hasn't had income in 15 years, David. She quit her job to focus on family while she was actually focusing on Randy. That's not how the court will see it. And if Randy testifies that you've been sabotaging his employment, let him testify. I'd love to hear him explain under oath why he keeps losing jobs. You're playing with fire here, John. No, David, I'm playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. I hung up and immediately called Mary Dillon. It's John, we need to accelerate our timeline. How quickly can you get me those gambling records? I can have them tonight. Why? What's wrong? Erica's going on the offensive. If Randy's going to testify against me, I need ammunition to destroy his credibility first. Consider it done. As I ended the call, I realized the game had changed. Erica wasn't content to play the victim anymore. She was fighting back. Perfect. I'd been getting bored with defense anyway. Mary Dillon's evidence was better than I'd hoped. She'd been documenting Randy's gambling for months, and the records painted a picture of a man spiraling completely out of control. We met at a 24-hour diner on the outskirts of town, the kind of place where truckers grab coffee at 3 a.m. and nobody asks questions about why two strangers were exchanging manila envelopes. $47,000 in losses over the past 8 months, Mary said, sliding the folder across the table. That's just what I could document. The actual number is probably higher. I flipped through bank statements, betting slips, and loan documents. Jesus, Mary, how did you get all this? Randy's not as careful as he thinks. He keeps everything in a shoebox under our bed like some kind of degenerate trophy collection. And he doesn't know you've been copying it? Randy doesn't know I exist unless he needs something. Money, alibis, someone to blame when his life falls apart. I studied a particularly damaging document, a loan agreement with a company called Rapid Cash Solutions that charged 30% interest and required Randy's truck as collateral. This is from 2 weeks ago. He borrowed $15,000 at 30% to pay off his bookie, the same bookie who's threatening to break his legs if he doesn't pay another $20,000 by Friday. And Friday is? Tomorrow. I looked up from the papers. Mary, if Randy can't pay these people, he'll run. It's what he always does when things get too complicated. New city, new identity, new woman to support his habits. What about his kids? What about them? Randy hasn't been a father to those kids in years. They're better off without him. Her voice was matter-of-fact, but I caught the pain underneath. 20 years of marriage to a man who'd gambled away their future and cheated with half the women in town? There's something else, Mary said, pulling out a second folder. Randy's been selling information. What kind of information? Personal stuff about you. Financial records, work schedules, family details. He sold it to some guy who claimed to be writing an article about successful local businessmen. My blood went cold. What guy? I don't know his name. Randy just called him the reporter, but I found this in Randy's truck. She handed me a business card. Marcus Webb, investigative journalist, Financial Tribune. I'd never heard of the Financial Tribune, and a quick Google search on my phone confirmed it didn't exist. Someone was paying Randy for information about me, and they were using a fake identity to do it. Mary, this changes everything. Randy's not just a cheating gambler. He's actively working against me. What do you want to do about it? I thought for a moment, then pulled out my phone and dialed David Peterson's emergency line. David, it's John. I need you to file an emergency motion first thing tomorrow morning. What kind of motion? Restraining order against Randy Dillon. I'll explain when I see you. After I hung up, Mary was staring at me with something approaching admiration. You work fast. I have to. Randy's about to run, and when he does, he'll take whatever information he's gathered straight to Erica's lawyer. So stop him from running. How? Mary smiled, and for the first time I saw a glimpse of the woman she must have been before Randy Dillon destroyed her faith in marriage. Leave that to me. The next morning, I was in David Peterson's office at 7 a.m., laying out the evidence Mary had provided. David whistled low as he reviewed the gambling records and loan documents. This is a prosecutor's dream, John. Randy Dillon's credibility is destroyed. File the restraining order based on harassment and stalking. Use the information selling as evidence that he's been monitoring my activities. What about the gambling debts? Anonymous tip to the IRS. Unreported income from illegal gambling activities. David raised an eyebrow. You're really going nuclear on this guy. He went nuclear first. I'm just returning fire. My phone buzzed with a text from Samantha. Dad, please call me. Something's happened to Mom. I showed David the message. Think Randy made his move? Only one way to find out. I called Samantha back, putting the phone on speaker so David could hear. Dad, thank God. Mom's in the emergency room again. What happened? Someone broke into her apartment last night. She wasn't hurt, but they trashed the place and stole her laptop. I exchanged glances with David. Did she call the police? Yes, but they said it was probably a random burglary. Nothing valuable was taken except the computer. Where are you now? City General. Mom's having panic attacks. The doctors want to keep her for observation. I'll be there in an hour. I hung up and turned to David. Randy's covering his tracks. You think he broke into Erica's apartment? I think someone did. Randy, or whoever's been paying him for information. They wanted to make sure there was no evidence linking them to Erica. This is getting dangerous, John. It was always dangerous. I just didn't realize how dangerous until now. My phone rang. Mary Dillon. John, we have a problem. Randy's gone. Gone how? Packed a bag and left this morning. He took the kids to school like normal, then disappeared. His truck's missing, and he cleaned out our joint checking account. How much? $3,000. It's all we had left. I closed my eyes, feeling the familiar weight of other people's problems settling on my shoulders. Then I opened them and made a decision. Mary, pack whatever you need and get out of that house. Tonight. Why? Because whoever Randy's been working with is cleaning up loose ends. They hit Erica's place last night. You could be next. Where am I supposed to go? I'll pay for a hotel room. Cash. Register under a different name. John, you don't owe me anything. Yes, I do. This mess started with my marriage, and now it's affecting innocent people. After I hung up, David was staring at me with concern. John, you're taking responsibility for things that aren't your fault. Maybe, but I'm also the only one in a position to fix this. By doing what? By ending it, once and for all. I stood to leave, but David grabbed my arm. John, whatever you're planning, think carefully. You've been smart so far, staying within legal boundaries. Don't let emotion make you do something stupid. I'm not emotional anymore, David. I'm just tired. Tired of what? Tired of being the nice guy who gets walked on. Tired of cleaning up other people's messes. Tired of pretending that playing fair matters when everyone else is cheating. So what's the plan? I looked out David's window at the city below, watching people hurry to jobs and appointments, all of them carrying their own secrets and lies. The plan is simple. I'm going to give everyone exactly what they deserve.